So, Ben, what did Master Yoda say when he saw himself on 4K TV?
Master Yoda, what did he say to himself when he saw himself on 4K TV? I have no idea.
HDMI?
HDMI?
I'm rear coin expert Walt Durham.
Industry veteran Ben Parker.
And we're the coin guys from Texas. And today we're going to be talking about Carson City Morgan silver dollars.
Yeah, specifically Carson City.
And we're actually going to do a Q&A today from user submitted. That's not the right word.
Viewer submitted.
Viewer submitted questions. Got some questions that Jordan handed me, and we can go over those.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic too, at this point, if you're seeing this and you have any questions about coins, parts of the market, go ahead and leave a comment for us just to let us know. What we want to try to do, we've talked about it, is try to compile some of these, put them together, and then have an episode kind of like this where we can kind of target some of the areas that y'all are focused on.
Right, or you can email info@championrarities.com. Jordan put that on the screen, and it'll get to us some way, somehow. And we'll pick some of the good ones and talk about them. Mm-hmm. So what's gold and silver prices doing? Is it the summer doldrums?
That seems to be the case. You look back for the summer, a lot of people are busy right now. If you have kids, they're out of school. There's a lot going on. So gold, it's really just floating around 2,300. Mm-hmm. It's 2,324 today. It's up $26 since yesterday. So everybody seems to be kind of taking a break is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Getting ready for some of the things that are going to be happening later this year. So today's a fun day too, because I'll just bring this up. There's the debate tonight.
I was about to ask about the debate.
Yeah. So the debate's tonight. Hopefully, everybody gets a chance to go watch it. I'm gonna try to tune in. I might be on the road, but we'll see. Silver right now, it's doing pretty much the same thing, and this is gonna be the case for all the metals right now. It's $28.84. It's down a little bit from that $30 range that we.
I like silver as a buy at $28.
Absolutely.
I really think it's a discount price.
Especially we saw it jump so high recently. There's no reason why it can't do that again. But we can't focus so much on the day by day. It's the big picture. So
and you've said it time and time before. Like if you when in doubt, zoom out, right? And if you look at it, this is a sign of a very healthy market on silver and in gold. You want to see the pullbacks. Nothing that goes straight up is good, because if it goes straight up, it's a bubble and it can pop really hard and really fast. So you seeing the steady climb up and slight pullback. The way I look at it is taking 3 or 4 steps forward, taking 1 step back, taking another 2 or 3 steps forward, taking 1 step back, and so on and so forth. I think that's healthy for any commodity, gold, silver, platinum, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Next up, platinum. And that one's still doing significantly better, in my opinion, than palladium. Platinum's at $986. We did see it kind of get comfortable around the $1,000 range. Mm-hmm. But palladium is $917. So they're really, for the amount that gold and silver do, I would say platinum and palladium really only move about a quarter of that for the time being. They're not doing anything crazy. It's all pretty much been stagnation for the moment.
Yeah. Do you think that the presidential debate will affect gold and silver prices?
Could it? Yes. Will it? Who knows? I mean, who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be, broadcasted to everybody. There's not going to be a live audience for this. And compared to last debate, there are some things that really stood out and made it swayed opinions, I believe. But I think that this year, I don't know, something crazy would have to happen, in my opinion. One of the two parties would have to do something pretty drastic.
Say something wrong,
or, God forbid, something bad happened there. That would be a major change.
Well, both of them are notorious for saying something wrong at some point, so
yeah,
it could happen.
Yeah. The interesting thing, though, is that they're muting the microphones whenever it's not there.
That.
Yeah. So there's different terms for this one. They even had a coin flip. They had a coin flip for it. So
sponsored by Coin Guys from Texas.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But
Could only imagine. We talked the other day about the Donald Trump signed coins, how much those are. I wonder how much it would cost to sponsor the coin flip at the presidential debate.
Oh
Get
my
them,
gosh.
get them to flip a like a $20 St. Gaudens or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be fun. But before we get into the Carson City stuff, we're going to do a little bit of the question and answers that. So people have obviously gone to our website and hit the contact us and send us questions, and Jordan does his best to give them to us. So I'm going to give you a shot at the first question.
Okay.
Okay, so somebody wrote in, is the 2019 S Enhanced Reverse Proof 69 with a mintage of only 30,000 coins a good deal right now at 1,400? Do you believe it could get to where the 95W is?
Ooh. Okay, so some context here.
Yep.
95W, it's the king. It's the proof. It's the one that everybody wants. That one is, in my opinion, always going to be the king. Will it get to that level? Probably not. Is it a good buy now? Absolutely. The 2019 S it's a wonderful coin, no matter how you look at it. But it's very difficult to put that coin in the same camp as the 95. In my opinion.
I would agree with that. My only thing with this question is I would say no to the Proof 69. I think the Proof 70 is not that far of a stretch away from the price wise.
Oh, I'm strictly talking in 70.
Well, yeah, his question was Proof 69.
Okay, yeah, no, 69, I'm going to...
Just because modern coin collectors typically, more often than not, they want 70 graded coins. I mean, they want the flawless coins, and and it's not my opinion. The market just says it. You know, I've said it time and time again when it comes to Gold American Eagles and Proof 69. Show me a coin other than the V75 that sells for a premium versus another date. It just doesn't happen in Proof 69. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. Even coins like the 9310 or any of the Roman numerals in Proof 69, they're basically tied to the spot price. So I would say it's not that far of a stretch in Proof 70 to go from a 2019 S to a in Proof 69 to a Proof 70. It's not that far money wise, and if you have to save up an additional 2 months or whatever to get there,
just do a 70.
Just wait the 2 months. And I will say prices, in my opinion, have kind of plateaued. They're really steady right now, and they've been steady for a long time. So I don't see it getting to the 95W. I think it's a great coin to own. It is a key in the series. It's a unique looking coin. Other than the 95W, the 95, what makes the 95W? The story, the low mintage. So that kind of makes that 95, with the 2019 S, you get, a enhanced reverse proof finish, which is a very unique and beautiful coin. And be thankful that it's not to the levels of the 95W.
Exactly.
So that's what I would say. Now, this one's going to be a little tougher.
All right.
So this one's a little tough because we really don't deal a whole lot with these. Do you think the 2024 P and D Mint Roosevelt dimes are a good buy?
Ooh, so the tough part for me on this one is that this specific area of coin collecting is not my forte.
Right, because it's a very inexpensive.
Yeah, there's a certain threshold that time just doesn't make sense spending on below a certain threshold. I would consider this to be in that category. Not that this is bad, because there's levels to all types of coin collecting out there in the market.
Right.
But without looking at the numbers, I'll ask you this: is it similar to like the 2020 quarters?
I would say the 2020 quarters are more popular. You talk about the W Mint issues. I think those are more popular. The numbers don't reflect, price wise, don't reflect the same as the W quarters. I think what's happening. So what he's referring to is in his question, he followed up with, they're selling for big money. And for a dime that just came out this year, they are selling for big money.
Right.
If you go look at eBay sales, they're probably $7 to $8 plus shipping for a P and D brilliant uncirculated Roosevelt dime.
That's significant.
It is, because if you compare even last year's, I mean, you could go to eBay and buy the dimes for, I don't know, that pair for like $1.96, and most of it's going to be tied up in shipping anyway.
Mm.
So, yeah, so there is something to the. I mean, kudos to this guy. I mean, he did spot something that the 24 P&D are selling for a premium right now. I think the reason being is if you look at circulating coin mintages, you know, we're off about 71% from last year. And so I think that's what it is. You know, guys have to remember the U.S. Mint's job is to mint coins to public demand. And I think the unfortunate scenario about this is that the mintages are getting lower on circulated coins. And the question is why? We use less circulating coins day in, day out. Mm-hmm. Banks don't even want to take cash anymore. Circulating coin, they don't want it. Mm-hmm. We had this discussion when, you know, former U.S. Treasurer Anna Cabral came in. You know, do you think one day we'll move to a cashless society? And her answer was yes. Maybe not in my lifetime, maybe not in yours, but definitely in your kid's lifetime. That we'll go to some kind of cashless society where everything will be debit cards, credit cards, or some form of that. It's just, you know, safety risks and stuff. So the demand for coins is going down. If this was a COVID type year where mintages went down because of something like that, and then we're going to come back up, I would say there could be great potential in the P&D Roosevelt dimes down the road, or any of the circulating coins, because right now, you know, the circulating coinage is down from the U.S. Mint. If you go look at production and sales figures, it's down. Like I said, 71 some odd percent. I read an article about that the other day. So, I mean, I don't see it being worth $7 or $8 if you're truly just a collector of all coins. Mm-hmm. I'd say go to a bank and buy a roll of each, and
you're right.
You know, if you talk to tellers up there, they'll let you know when the new rolls get in. Yeah. When the new rolls get in. So that's a little tougher question for us because we really don't specialize in stuff that low of value. But that's the best I could do. Yeah. So fair enough. Ooh. So this one's good. This one's a good one. Okay. This was a comment on something, either TikTok or YouTube. What is your favorite coin purchase of all time?
Wow. That is incredibly difficult to answer. And the reason I say that is, you know, think about something that you, an area that you really like. For me, it's music, things like that, coins, collecting. Mm-hmm. You know, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite song? It's such a difficult thing to put your...
Well, I think they want to know what's your favorite cowboy hat.
This one right now. Oh, it's whichever one I'm wearing. I'll put it that way.
There you
go. Favorite coin purchase
of all time.
Oh, man,
I have mine.
Go ahead and tell me yours.
Okay, so and you'll be like, oh yeah. So the favorite coin purchase of all time, and we'll put the picture up there. It's the 1907 20 cent high relief MS69 CAC, a coin that will never be replicated or duplicated. That was a big purchase. Mm-hmm. $1 million plus coin. I mean, you just don't. I mean, that's like one of the most iconic St. Gaudens of all time, and to have it in a MS69 with the green bean CAC sticker. Yeah. And I remember the coin. What made the coin even more special, and it wasn't actually on the coin, is the CAC sticker was so old that it started to wear. It's a coin that I know where it's at, and mm-hmm. y'all will not see it for a long time.
I'm still finding it difficult to come up with one.
Your favorite, like, of all time?
There's not one. That's my problem. There's not one single coin, because I'm sitting here going through my mind of, the 2019 S, being able to get that from the mint. That was a really exciting time. Yeah. In the 1841 $10 piece, that was just recent. That coin was really amazing. Some of the OGH, the old green holders that we've come across in the past, that 1883 $10 VG8 Old green holder.
So the 830, I remember that coin. The 830 is a VG08, but it didn't look like a VG.
No, it did not.
It looked closer to VF, and it was just an older holder. It was a spectacular coin for what it was. Mm-hmm. I do remember that coin.
When I saw that one, that might be my favorite, because when I saw it, you just knew that it looked way, way more impressive than the grade that it was given. And part of the reason why it was in an old green holder, it was CAC, and that coin was graded a very long time ago. So it has the possibility that if it was resubmitted, it could be upgraded.
And that coin also had a pretty cool story. The guy was a dealer who owned that coin personally for many years, and never wanted to put it up for sale, but had to put it up for sale to put his granddaughter through college, I believe is what he said. So just coin with a cool story. That's definitely a coin I won't forget either. Great coin. Mm-hmm. So you'll go with the 830?
All right. I'll go with that.
Great coin. Only 800 of them minted. It's if you're a New Orleans Mint $10 gold Liberty collector, you know that's your bread and butter. That's what you want. That's the ultimate goal. All right. Well, here's a pretty generic question, I guess, but we'll answer it. Do y'all buy coins from people who do not live near you?
Absolutely.
I knew. Yeah. I knew your answer would be absolutely yes. So the quick answer is yes. We buy coins from individuals, dealers, U.S. Mint distributors from around the world. So if you have coins that you're wanting to either have us give a bid on, you can email info@championrarities.com and they'll get it to us. And the only thing I'm going to preface this, as a lot of local coin shops who might watch this, we're not big on pennies, nickels, and stuff like that, the low value stuff, or quarters that are 1965 and younger. Is that the right way to say it?
64 and before.
64 and before, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
The junk silver stuff, right? But if you've got like certified coins, yes, you can send us pictures. We buy coins like that all the time. Heck, we can even video us, doing the evaluation, and send you the video and send you a check the same day or the next day, depending on what, sometimes FedEx don't get here till like 4:00.
Yeah. I will say this, I want to add one point too, is that when you have, and we talked about this in an earlier episode, we had a couple that were talking about, things to avoid when buying coins, things to avoid when selling coins. So specifically for selling, it's always, I'll use the word fortuitous for both parties to have graded coins, because those can be bought, sold, sight unseen.
And now with the advancement of technology, and if you're, one of the things I would encourage people to do is be highly organized when you're selling your coins. Put a spreadsheet on and have the serial numbers of the coins, because we can actually look up the image of the coin based on the serial on most coins. Now, PCGS and NGC's database doesn't have every single coin they've graded, but it's got a lot.
Yeah.
And so on these rare issues, I mean, we had a lady on the phone the other day who had a $1 gold coin. She gave us the serial number, was able to pull up the PCGS TrueView of it, and was able to look at the actual coin. So not only do we know the coin's in a certified holder, but we can actually see if there's any distracting spots in the field or something that may make it bring less money. Because the last thing you want to do is quote somebody, yeah, I'll give you $1,000 for the coin. Coin gets here, it's got something very distracting in it, and it's just like, it's not an exceptional. It's not an exceptional quality coin. It's kind of a coin that just made the grade, and you don't want to really pay up for those type of coins.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want is a big gash in the cheek or anything like that. And it may say that's the grade, but eye appeal is very important.
Very important on all coins. So this one is a question this is the one we get from stackers a lot.
Okay.
From either silver or gold stackers. Does anybody really care about a MS-70? Aren't they just a marketing stunt made up by the grading services?
So when I hear this question, the first thing that comes to mind is someone who sounds like they're on the path to becoming a collector. Because
you think so?
Yes, because I think
he said that with his chest. I don't know.
He did. But the most important thing is that they're asking questions. So this is the beginning of understanding research and due diligence.
Yeah.
When they start this path, so first off, I'll go ahead and answer the question. There's a lot to Mint State 70s, and people will absolutely always go for Mint State 70s. It is a perfect coin.
Yeah.
The grading service's job is to verify that that coin is flawless. Something perfect is always going to have more value over something with imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. We're talking about coins, right now, but I often will refer to this area also. Think about a classic antique car.
Mm-hmm.
If it's all OEM, if it's original, it could have the same paint that it had when it was originally produced. That's going to be worth more in its original good, perfect condition than something with aftermarket parts or, any, in this case, I'll say blemishes that a coin might have. It's going to be worth more original than a car that had a lot of changes made to it.
Restorations.
Yes.
So what I say is people, again, this typically comes from stackers who are just like, oh, well, all modern coins are bullion and everything else is just a marketing stunt. And I get it. That's your opinion. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. I've said it 100 times. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But the market, in my opinion, is different. But the only person that tells the truth is the market. We've had people say, it's just a half ounce gold eagle. Well, in reference to like say the 2021 Type 1 $25 gold eagle, it carries a premium now because it is one of the lower minted ones. I'm like, it's just a half ounce of gold. Well, that's like saying the 1991 $25 piece is just a half ounce of gold. It's not. I get it. You might not pay any extra money for it, but the market will. There's countless dealers and collectors out there that will pay a huge premium for a 1991 $25 gold eagle in 70. Mm-hmm. A tremendous amount of premium for that coin in 70. So I get it. That's why you see, a 1986 Silver Eagle in Mint State 70s much more valuable than a 2024 Silver Eagle in Mint State 70. And the reason being is, I guess you could call it a condition rarity, but the amount of coins in 70 is the difference. We've talked about it before. An 86 Silver Eagle sat around and rolls because modern coin collecting wasn't really a big thing in the 80s and early 90s. It wasn't until like early 2000s before people started submitting these coins to the grading service. So you have very few of the original mintage in 70. That's what makes it valuable. So again, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah.
No hard feelings, but if you just want to be a silver stacker or a gold stacker, that's fine. Somebody made the comment on YouTube a while back that said, I believe that stacking is more of a savings account and collecting is more of a passion. And I couldn't agree more with that.
I like
so,
that, yeah.
So if you cannot wrap your head around what makes, owning a 1999 W error coin $10 piece in 70 cool, then you just, you might get there one day, but you might not. No hard feelings. Coin collecting might not be for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I look at it. But yes, it does really matter, and it's not just a marketing stunt. Because if it was a marketing stunt, then the big players of the people who submit to NGC would just get 70s at will, and
that does not happen.
Does not happen. They don't care how much money you spend with them.
Yeah.
So on to the main topic. That's all the questions I got. If y'all have questions, again, you can leave a comment.
Send an email to info@Champion Rarities.
Info@Champion Rarities, and they will get them to us, and we might make a whole episode out of one. So, well, now we're going to talk about Carson City Morgan,
City,
the king of the silver dollars.
Yeah.
We like to use that word a lot, king.
King. What better fitting word is there for something that's the total rule, the one at the top?
So it's no secret Morgan silver dollars are probably they've got...
I would say it's the most widely collected coin out there, Morgan silver dollar.
And what's really great about Morgan silver dollars too is like there's entry level for people who are just coming, like people who've maybe never collected or stacked anything before, precious metals wise. They kind of get the history of the Morgan silver dollar, such an iconic, Western, throw it on the bar at the saloon and buy. I don't know how much $1 would have bought back then in beer, but it has a huge collector base. And that's why I think Morgans are so popular, but especially the Carson Cities are extremely popular because they are the rarest of the mints that produce the Morgan dollars. So if you're not familiar with the Carson City Mint, I think it was 1857 when Henry Comstock, started
The Comstock load.
in Nevada. And so the main thing about it is there was so much silver over there in Nevada, and, railroads really weren't expanded all the way over there yet. I mean, you got to remember this 1857. So it comes to about, it became the Carson City Mint, after it became a state, U.S. Mint was like, hey, we have to have a way to refine this and use it. And lo and behold, the Carson City Mint is born. You'll see a lot of coins with I believe there's a hoard out there, Comstock Load Hoard.
I believe so.
Yeah. And it's just a really cool story. I'm going to go cheat here. I got my mintage figures. But, it just really tells the story of the Wild West is really what it is. And you got to think about the people who make up the majority of U.S. coin collectors is baby boomers. And what is Danny again? Gen
Z?
Is Gen Z?
No, Gen Z is the youngest.
Yeah.
X?
Nope. I don't know. But majority is an older demographic, and they grew up on Westerns, John Wayne. And I think that kind of adds to the appeal of the Carson City Mint. And so the famed CC Mint mark is what everybody wants for the Morgan silver dollars.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Absolutely.
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 Yeah, so just to kind of summarize this, the Comstock Lode was the single largest silver deposit that we discovered. So they're right there. If you look at a map, Carson City is just a hop and a skip away. So it only made sense. And I really like the Carson City Morgans too, because these coins, they didn't make, 500 of these. There's not, well, I mean, not what I'm saying in years.
Yeah.
There's not 500 different years of these. There's not all this work that you have to do to go get a complete collection. There's only 13 coins.
Yeah, that's one of the major draws, I think, is especially for new collectors, because if you were going like, hey, I'm going to collect Morgan silver dollars, and you just say, I'm going to collect anything and everything Morgan silver dollars, that's a lot of coins. If you say, I'm going to narrow my focus, which we always recommend to narrow your focus when it comes to coin collecting, instead of buying, an O mint, an S mint from this date, and an S mint from over here, and then an O mint and a D mint. If you were just to take that money and concentrate it into Carson Cities, you would do a lot better. You would be able to afford better quality over the Carson Cities. It's a lot easier down the road to sell because it's all together. It's not like this hodgepodge of stuff. It's a Carson City Morgan silver dollar collection. And like you said, 13 years, it's doable. It's doable on almost any budget. Granted, the grades on a lower budget are low, but the Carson City Mint, everybody knows when they see a Morgan silver dollar with the CC Mint, that's a rare issue.
Right.
I would highly recommend that if you're wanting to get, if you've never collected Morgan silver dollars before and you're going to get into Morgan silver dollars and you're have a person of average means, look at the Carson Cities. Again, start off with the 84, 82, 83. I went backward there. 84, 82, yeah. 84, 83, 82. Carson Cities, those are some of the more common ones. And uncirculated, they're affordable, less than $1,000. And you just take your time with it. That's the point of coin collecting. There's not a rush to finish this immediately. It's to build the best possible collection that you can with the amount of money that you have available.
Right. And to make it seem easy on completing an entire collection, because you will find difficulty in two coins specifically. There are two that are, I would say, significantly harder to obtain and acquire than the rest, especially whenever you compare them to the 82, the 83, the 84. Those two are the 1889 and the 1879.
Right.
Those are going to be, you'll be happy to own it, period. I'll put it that way.
Right. So here, all Carson City mints in relative terms are lower minted. I mean, if you put in perspective, 13.7 million total struck at the Carson City mint. I mean, you go to 1 year from another mint and it eclipses all of that, in one issue. So the 89cc is not the lowest minted, but it's definitely going to be your key coin. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the hardest to obtain and not because of the mintage. The mintage on that coin was 350,000. The survival rate is what makes that coin rare. And that's going to be a very challenging coin to get. That's a coin that, like you said, you'd be just lucky to own it, kind of thing. When you look at a coin, so if you're a new collector, I guess I'm going to pose a question to you. If you're a new collector, right, and you know that 1889cc is going to be unattainable. It's not unattainable, but for your budget, it's going to be up there. Mm-hmm. If you're a rookie, don't have, you're not working with a $500,000 budget for a Carson City Morgan Silver Dollar collection, do you take your time building the rest of the set, right? And just kind of like, hey, I'm going to get that down the road, which I think most people do. Or B, screw all the other coins and just put all the money that you would put into the entire collection into that one coin and get the best possible grade that you could.
Having the knowledge that I have, this is going to oppose what most people feel they should do. Like you said, I would say 90 to 95% of people out there look at that information and they say, oh, well, I'm going to start off small. I'm going to do the easier ones first. No. Head first, dive in, get one of those two coins. And the reason why I say that is it's only going to be more beneficial for you as time goes on. Because I've seen time and time again, these collectors will start building these collections and they start with 82, 83, 84.
Right.
Those are the most readily available. They are easy to obtain. They're dipping their toe in the water. But the one regret I would say most of my clients have is they weren't more aggressive with their purchasing in their initial years versus later on. Because then by the time they're ready or they've saved up or whatever it may be for those two coins or the key date in any series, they're going to end up paying a little bit more than they would have initially.
So there's really no wrong answer in my opinion, because people are collectors and they can say, well, I can take, $10,000 that I was going to put to building this entire collection and I can put it towards that 189cc. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, that's no fun. I just got one coin and I want more.
Yeah.
So I get that aspect of it. But I will say that you are better off like not skimping on key date coins. I can't tell you how many times people go, oh, well, just give me, let's just try to find a VG, on a key date coin. And that's just, I understand. They think it mitigates their risk, I think. But in the long run, I mean, key date coins are they're special and they're special for a reason. And you want something that's going to be desirable down the road. You kind of want to splurge on that key date.
So I'll say this on key dates, because we talk about them often. Just to reiterate, a key date in any series is the coin that has typically the lowest supply and the highest demand. More people want it than the others, but there's not enough of them to go around. So that's whenever, like in any market, you're going to see the prices increase for any item under those parameters. That's why those are always a good bet. And in this case, you should spend a little bit more than you were probably comfortable with because you're going to get more out of it.
Right.
And that's using the information that we have, because if we were, novices, if we were just stepping into this, of course we're going to want to pick up an 82, 83, 84 because it's safe,
it's
in our opinion. It's only X amount of dollars. especially when you compare it to one of those two key dates in this series. But
And the Morgan Silver Dollar series is a series that's been around for a long time. So it's not like, and it hasn't really bubbled like, classic U.S. commemoratives kind of just like took off in the 80s, and they have since just like dropped to Morgans haven't done that. Morgans are pretty stable. So it's not like you're going to buy a coin for $500, $700, or $1,000 and the next day it's going to be worth $200. I mean, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively safe series as far as keeping that from happening. It's not Bitcoin that's $60,000 one day and $30,000 the next.
Exactly.
And the 89cc is not going to do that. The 89cc is not going to be a $60,000 coin one day and $10,000, the next year. It's not going to happen. It's got a wide collector base. Like I said, there's no wrong answer when it comes to Carson Cities. I do know it. Again, I think most people take the approach. If you're going to start a Carson City set, I think you take the approach that, hey, maybe you do start off with the 82, 83, 84, 78 cc, and you start building this collection. You start to understand how collecting works, and it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and you don't have to finish these in a month. You don't have to finish just because there's only 13 coins. You don't have to buy 13 coins in 2 months and be like, yeah, I completed something.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun, is the challenge of saving up the money for the lower income individuals, saving up the money, finding a coin that appeals to you, because you've seen it before with Carson City Morgans and back to all Morgans. I mean, some of them are horrific looking, and people say, I can't believe that coin graded as 62. Well, just because it's darkly toned doesn't mean that it's not a 62.
Right.
It is a 62. So finding something, maybe you like toned Morgans, and then, but naturally toned Morgans do carry a huge premium. And NGC won't certify an unnatural toned Morgan, but you can kind of make that collection your own. Just understand that if you go into it with that mindset that I'm going to start on the more common issues, the 82, 83, 84, which most people do, understand that one day you need to go for that 89cc or that 81. That's just, I mean, to complete it, that's what coin collecting is about.
Yeah.
That's why the 1909S VDB penny was so popular and still is, because, how many people had penny books? The one coin they couldn't get, 1909S VDB. And it's kind of the same thing with coin collecting. Let's take your time, marathon it, buy the best possible coins in the best possible grade that you can afford. And that's especially true with Morgan Silver, because there's a lot of Morgan Silver dollars out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is. I mean, we can sell brilliant, not from Carson City, but brilliant uncirculated Morgan Silver dollars are less than $100 from 1878 to 1904. They're out there.
Yeah, they're
so
available.
What makes the Carson City Mint collection, Morgan Silver dollar collection valuable is they are lower minted of those, but they got the rich in history, and they're the ones that everybody wants. I mean, that's just at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah. So I have a couple notes I want to touch on for each individual year, just to provide a little information about each one, because we touched on the key dates, the two coins.
Right.
But the very first one that was struck was 1878.
Yes.
So this one has a really high mintage, so it is more available, but it's going to be at a certain threshold in the higher grades. It does become scarce.
Yep.
And that's what you're going to tend to notice the more research and information you look up on these. You're going to notice that, hey, this one was a little available in a 62 grade, but in a 64, you can barely touch it. So you're going to notice there's going to be kind of a range where prices and rarity just jump through the roof.
Here's what I would say to anybody out there collecting anything like pre-33, whether it's gold, silver Morgans, Carson City Morgans, especially Carson City Morgans. You want to buy the grade right before the major price jump. So, for instance, if a 66 of a particular year is $5,000 and a 65 is $1,000, that 65 is a great place to be. Unless you're trying to build a world-class collection. Now, we deal with customers all the time who, I mean, They
Yeah,
build
yeah,
world-class
yeah.
collections, but not everybody can afford that.
I would say most of this information for our audience is generally directed to the average collector that,
Yeah.
they're trying to be conservative with the amount that they're putting toward this. You're going to do absolutely fantastic trying to go build a world-class collection.
Yeah.
People do that, but this is going to be a more general approach for everybody as a sum. But the next one's 1879. That is one of the hardest to find, period, one of the hardest to acquire. That's one of the key dates. 1880 has a really low mintage, but it has a higher survival rate.
It really does.
1880 has some different varieties too. So this is just a general approach to the year itself.
And when you say higher mintage on
These are all low minted, but
so you're talking about the 80cc, right? So it's got a mintage of 495,000. Compare that to the 1921 Denver Mint. They made 20 million coins.
so let's repeat that. 1880 Carson City. What was the mintage?
495,000.
Okay. And then
In 2021, the 2021 D Denver Mint Morgan Silver Dollar was 20 plus million, over 20 million.
that's insane. So when we're talking about higher mintages within Carson City, there's still low mintages across the board.
Compared to Philadelphia's and Denver's
Exactly.
and stuff down the road, yes.
And then 81, we see that one, it's pretty affordable, I would say, in a range from mint state 63 to 67. It's pretty affordable. That one's not bad.
It's got a nice survival rate in the uncirculated, so it is affordable. So you could really stretch there, and if you wanted to make your collection more valuable, is on the more common coins, stretch those grades up. Do something, CAC, exceptional quality, something like that. Old green holder.
Just go for some extra attributes that are going to make that coin really stand out.
And so many people forget about that. People just try to fill holes instead of I'm telling you right now, an 84cc and like an old green holder with a gold CAC sticker or something. That's a great way to just make your collection stand out from the other collections that are out there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Your favorite word is absolutely.
For some reason. So then I'm gonna put 1882, 83, and 84 in the same camp. Those three coins are generally they're going to be readily available. They're the least expensive out of all 13 years. So those three, if you want to start there, that's the place you want to start. 1885. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult to obtain. We're starting to see the rarity increase. Some of the mintages change. But like we said earlier, you can't just go off of the mintage. You have to go off of the survival rate. Skips a couple years into 1889. 1889, that's the key date. It's extremely rare. You're going to see very, very high premiums in comparison to some of these other years.
Even though it had a mintage of 350,000,
Exactly.
which isn't, the 81cc technically, if you looked at mintages, are rare, but the 89, like I said before, the 89cc does have a lower survival rate.
And then 1890, we start to see that's one of those ones where in high grades it does become pretty scarce. Do you have the mintage on that one?
Yeah, it's 2.3 milli.
So it's not the hardest one in the set, but you will have difficulty getting in high grades.
Again, that's the coin that when you get to it, just stretch that grade a little bit.
Yeah, try to get the upper range of what you're willing to spend. 1891. I like this one because, when you compare 10 years prior in 1881, it's easy to get that one. At 81, it's easy to get in a 63 to 67. But 1891, this is going to be one of those ones for whatever reason, the quality of them producing these coins, it's hard to find above a 64 grade.
Yep.
So be happy with anything 64 around that area. I think people can generally do that. 1892, it is a tough date, like the 91 in higher grades. So, but like you said, you want to try to spend a little bit more, try to get those ones that are just before that big price jump.
Or, try to find something to give it a cool factor. Whether it's an old green holder or, something.
Yeah.
Whether it's, just blast white and something to give it that, that's what you can do on these common coins is pay up a little bit, because you can't just look at a red book and go, okay, a Mint State 64 is $300 or whatever on any coin.
Yeah.
And look at a coin that maybe has a gold CAC sticker or something, or an old green holder, or just
something special.
Something special that, and you pay up for it. And I promise you, Jerry Jones said it best.
It's one of my favorite quotes recently.
Never lost money on anything I've always made money on. What was it? I've always made money on things I've overpaid for.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, we talked in the beginning of the show, the 1907 20 MS69 Saint and CAC certified. People said I overpaid for it. Now look who's wrong now.
And then one of my favorites, just the first year and the last year they're always important in every series, especially this one. 1893, it's the very last year. And I would say, if I could just sum it up into one sentence, it's rare in all grades. It's a rare coin, especially considered when you compare it to Philadelphia and these other mints. It's just a tough one to get.
Yeah, and even though it's got a mintage of 677,000, it's not as low as the 81cc, but it's not as readily available as the 81cc. And again, that's survival rate. And if you're a new coin collector, it's like, well, how the heck do I know this? Well, that's why you work with somebody who knows this, but there's plenty of information out there, books, internet, that will tell you about survival rates. And, that's why populations are such a big deal for coins. And one thing to remember, too, if you really wanted to put a special set together, is a GSA set of Carson City Morgans. For those of you who don't know, the GSA, General Service Administration, in the 60s they found original mint sewn bags of Morgan silver dollars. 95% of them were from the Carson City Mint. And they put them in these special holders and sold them to the public. And they're in a big, big holder.
It's almost the size of a DVD. It's not as thick.
Yeah.
But it's about that size.
About the size of a DVD, or maybe like an iPhone Max, so, somewhere in between. And so they're in the original holders, and like you can even get NGC and PCGS to band them with a grade, so they can grade the coin and still leave it in the original holder. I like the original GSA holders because, again, there are thousands that were released in the GSA holders, but we talk about the great crack out of the 1980s. You could walk across the Bourse floor and hear just sounds of people cracking slabs, and it's not slabs; they were cracking them out of the GSA to submit them for grading. That makes the original box paper certificate of authenticity a little more valuable today, because the number of ones that are still left in that original GSA, whether you like it or not, that's history. That was something that happened in the 60s. It was history. And, now NGC and stuff has recognized that, so they can put a band across the holder and
keep it original
and give it a certified grade. So that's I would tell people GSAs, and again, A283, 84 were the ones that were, released the most. Yeah. In the GSA, like 85 is a tough one in GSA.
But this is one of those elements, these attributes that you can look for in some of these years. You can say, well, I want to do something special, whether that be, like you said, CAC, old green holder, old rattler holder, go for a GSA in some of these years. It's something else that you can add that builds value outside of just the coin itself. Yeah, and
we could get into a lot of stuff with the GSAs, but there's soft packs and hard packs, and it's something that it puts a little more history to it, and can make it a little more special.
Absolutely.
So
I got a couple questions for you, just to kind of go over Carson City in general, your thoughts on it. So the first one is, what makes the Morgan Silver Dollar series in Carson City so iconic and desirable?
So I think we touched on this a little bit. What makes it the Morgan Silver Dollar series is just it has that Old West feel. It's affordable. That's why it's desirable. You're getting coins from the 1800s. That Carson City really has that Wild West tie to it. And it has a lot of history there. in Carson City, Nevada, again, I kind of said it, like most of the people who collect, they're not millennials. They're an older generation who with discretionary income. And, they grew up on Westerns and John Wayne's and in America, just that Wild West. And I believe that plays a huge part in that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they're so popular. And again, just to touch on it, the Carson Cities are more popular than any of the because of their scarcity. And people recognize if it sees a CC on the back that's a special coin, regardless.
Yeah. All right, so why do Carson City Morgans hold value when other coin values drop sometimes?
I think because it has a large collector base. There's always buyers, and you're right. Other issues can, when the coin market's weak, it's weak. When there's pullbacks, there's pullbacks. And if it's in a bear market, it's in a bear market. But you have seen some of this goes back to the key dates tend to hold their value. And although you can't really say that every Carson City is a key date, but every Carson City is a key date in a Morgan series. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense at all.
Right.
It's not that every coin's the 89cc, but the Carson Cities are the most desirable. They are the lowest minted of all the mints. So it's a key series within the series, and I think that's why sometimes you can see value. You can see them hold their values when other values are affected.
That's fair. Okay, so what strategies do you recommend to someone starting a Carson City Morgan collection? We did touch on this, but
I would say, find something that interests you, whether like GSAs or affordable 82, 83, 84, but understand like if you have the goal in mind that you're going to complete it, then I would say 82, 83 or 78 CC. I really like that coin. First year for all Morgans, first year for the Carson City Morgan. So that's kind of where I'd say start off. If you have no intentions of completing it, then I would say see what you can spend and see what the best 89cc you could get.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Now, do you have any personal stories with collecting or dealing in Carson City Morgans?
So early on in my career, I'll say this. We had bought a large number of Morgan silver dollars from somebody, an individual or somebody, and they'd come in, and basically they were all pretty much the same grade, and there was a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, not thousands, but there was 100 or so, and so I called and I sold them off to another dealer, and again, this is pretty early in my collecting or dealer days. Sold them off to another dealer, sent them to him, and he said, "Hey, you know that there's like 25 Carson Cities in here?" I was like, "Those weren't supposed to be in there. I guess shipping messed up. Sorry about that. Let's talk about them, by the way." And so, it's okay to fail as long as you learn the lessons in it. And that was one of the lessons I learned early on in my career, to not just, just slow down, take your time. And I to this day, I don't look at a Morgan silver dollar without turning it over for that reason.
Exactly. And that's part of the whole allure about this, is that I would say the majority of collectors out there, as soon as they see the CC, that mint mark, I mean, they pick it up, especially if they're looking through coins. So without a doubt, that is, sometimes that can be a hard lesson to learn, but everybody has that, that's how you
every
get
dealer
experience.
out there,
they've had similar, that's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
All right. So how important is it getting certified Carson City Morgans for an individual in today's market?
Extremely. And this is why. Because you are not the only one, and when I say you, the person collecting Carson City Morgans are not the only one who knows that Carson Cities are valuable. Mm-hmm. Scammers know that they're valuable too. And you'll see genuine coins with fake mint marks. You'll see cast production, cast poured Morgans. For a trained eye like me, it's really easy to find those. But for an untrained eye, it's not. I think the biggest danger is, taking an 1878P and turning it into a CC. It happens a lot. And I think certification is, because NGC, PCGS, they have great ironclad guarantees on the authenticities of their coins. And I don't know if you've ever read NGC's guarantee. It's one of the best in the business. There's a limit to no value, which if a coin that is in their holder is deemed unauthentic or not authentic, however the proper way to say it, you're covered. So
that's a bold statement for them to make.
Right. But that's what they're in the business of reputation. Yeah. And so it is extremely important to buy certified Carson Cities. And listen, I say it. It makes it so much easier to sell it down the road.
Without a
because
doubt.
It's simple. Something that has a high risk has a higher return of profit, right? So if you're a dealer or buying coins, the more risk, the more money you want to take. So as a seller of coins, the more you can take down that risk, the more money you're going to get for that coin. And you also have to, we see it all the time. People pass away, people inherit the coin collection. People don't care about, that particular person may not care about the coins. And so they have no knowledge in the field, and then they go and sell them. And people say, well, these are actually, look, there are local buyers out there, and there's a local hotel buying event going on right down the road right now. And they're probably saying, oh, it could be it looks like a Philadelphia issue with a fake. And they would show you something to make you think, oh, grandpa bought a fake Carson City. So look, at the end of the day, buy certified. If you're not an expert in coins, buy certified.
There's protection there. It's 100% authentic, and there's no disputing it.
And with as widespread as coin collecting is today, I even have this when we're offered raw coins from other dealers, and as easy as it is to submit for us dealers, to me, I kind of just have this feeling like if it's uncertified, it's uncertified for a reason. Yes. And either somebody's trying to, I can't tell you how many dealers pass off AU Morgans as BU Morgans.
And this is something I want to touch on too, is that no one is completely, everyone for the most part is going to be susceptible to fakes. Eventually it's going to happen. You're going to come across them. And with the recent surge in spot prices here recently, I would argue that we've seen more in the past year than we have in previous years. And if someone's going to be faking it, it doesn't matter where you're going. If it's a gun show and they have coins there, a coin show and there's coins that you're looking at, if it's uncertified and it's a Carson City, like you said, the first thing I think of is why?
Why?
Why isn't it certified? If they're a dealer,
either it's cleaned,
something's wrong.
Something.
And that's the thing, is a coin may look to the untrained eye like it's good eye appeal. It's blast white. It's free of any spots or blemishes. Well, then you go get it certified, and NGC dings it right off the bat. Hey, this has been cleaned. It's been doctored. Something's been done to it.
Right. And fakes, I've brought y'all fakes in there before, and it's like, look how fake this, and even y'all sometimes can't tell. We just deal with it so much that, trained eyes can tell. And unless you really study that series and know what to look for, there's just no reason to buy uncertified Carson City Morgans. Yeah. In my opinion. And you're not saving that much money.
Exactly.
Even if you're a cheapo and can only spend a couple hundred, $200 on a Carson City, just go ahead and buy a low grade certified one.
There you go. All right, last question. How do you see the Carson City Morgans doing with future generations?
I think, I really do, in my gut, think that Carson City Morgans are going to continue to be a great area with high demand. Mm-hmm. There's just something about the Wild West and that whole story. And I think that's what deems if we do go to a cashless society one day, maybe in 2060 or 2070, that I think the appreciation for how we used to do things will be more, because it's not like most people who collect coins, like the coins we buy and sell, are out there collecting, 2024 pennies and nickels. They're collecting the vintage stuff. So, I think future generations will take to it well, because the older you get, that's just such an iconic time in American history, that 1800s, early 1900s, and I don't think that'll ever go away. I think there will always be an appreciation for that time period, and the people will appreciate as the further along we move away from that. I think they'll appreciate it.
Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at Morgan silver dollars as a whole, Carson City will always be as rare as it is now in the future.
Yes.
So when you take that into account, exactly. So when you take that into account, I think future generations are going to recognize the value and the rarity.
I agree with you. Well, I think that's all we've got.
That's it. So one quick reiteration. If y'all have questions, put them in the comments. Send an email to info@championrarities.com. We'll make an episode. Questions about anything, really. Or if you just have
Well, not anything. About coins.
About coins. But if you have questions about something, it doesn't necessarily have to go to an episode, but, feel free to ask.
And even if it's something that warrants don't put it on here, we'll respond and put an email to it.
There you go.
See you next time, guys.